Hey everyone, Irit here with another art journaling process video, and I am really hoping to make this into a weekly series on Friday. And I know that the moment that I say such a thing, something's gonna happen and I won't be able to keep it going. But I really want to. And it's also, this journal is, I've only journaled it, the pages that you have seen every Friday, and that's how I want to keep it, because it makes me kind of think a little bit about each page and what I want it to represent. So I'm really enjoying that, and I think once a week is something that I'm scared to say, I think I can keep up with it. Anyway, today's page is about my flights to the US, and what I'm going to use some scraps. I have these scraps from a crate paper collection that was kind of travel themed. I think it came out last year sometime, and I'm just going to use these scraps to create this pocket. So you can see that this page is pretty, like, a little bit different than the ones before that. Those were very like strictly sketching and watercoloring, and here I'm adding other stuff, and I'm okay with it. I'm trying not to make it too chunky. I don't think I want this to be a chunky journal, but time will tell, so we'll see. Anyway, I stitched around my pattern papers before I actually adhered them to my journal, so it's kind of like just faking it without the risk of, like, without having to run the journal through the sewing machine, and you know, the stitches would also show on the other page, the back of this, and I didn't want this in this case. So this is just a really easy way of faking it. And yeah, and then I added a couple of my boarding passes. I don't know, usually I'm not really into keeping like memorabilia, like these types of things, but these looked pretty cool to me. They have that boarding pass look. I think soon everything will be on our phones, and these will be relics of our times. So yeah, that's what's going on the left side. Then I have that little airplane that I fussy cut. I found that in a magazine that I have. I can't remember. It was either from Flow magazine or Daphne's Diary. I don't know. But I fussy cut that cute airplane, and I'm going to add it. And then on the right side, I have this adorable stamp set that I picked up while I was in Phoenix, Arizona. And it has the map of the US, and also some other little cute stamps that are relevant for travel. So I'm going to use those. And then I'm also going to look through my stash of travel themed stamps. So this is a really great opportunity to take out some neglected products and, go through your stash, see what you have. I had fun looking for travel themed stamp sets, and I found a few. I have one, I think, from Kelly Perky that is food themed, and hopefully I can use it on another page. So I'm using another one of the stamps in the Fiskars. This stamp set is by Fiskars. I picked it up at Joann's. They had a 1+1 sale, so it cost me $5, I think. Pretty good deal. And I'm using another one of the stamps to create this border. At the beginning, I was trying to do it like neatly and like masking so I wouldn't get anything off the page. And then I realized that's not me. So might as well go over it again and create a more textured look. And I want this page to feel a little bit retro. Oh, I forgot to say, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will know when I post a new video. YouTube works in mysterious ways, and sometimes it just won't show you unless you hit that. It won't show you when I post new videos unless you hit that notification bell. So that's the sure way to know when I'm posting anything. Also, I am working on a new class, and it's going to be an art journaling class. Now, I will talk about this more, but I will have some free content that is by invitation only. So if you sign up for, to get that, you will get a link to that free stuff. Now, this is not to make anyone's life harder. It's just to make sure that anyone who's interested can find it easily, because YouTube cannot be trusted. I'm sorry, YouTube, but that's the way it is. So I just want to make sure that, if you want to join me for some more art journaling fun, you will find what you're looking for. So I will be talking about this soon, because I had already some of the content filmed, and then I'm filming more now. I'm really, really enjoying it. It's kind of, it's a art journaling class for beginners, but I think it's for all levels, because it's technique based, and I'm going to walk you through my way of art journaling and my kind of system. I don't know, when you call things like system or guidelines or something like that, it doesn't make it seem so artsy, but I find having some sort of a system or crutches to be incredibly helpful, and hopefully you will feel the same. So that's all in the works. Keep an eye out for that. I'm also sharing stuff on Instagram, so if you are on Instagram, follow me there for more things. And yeah, let's move on back to this spread. Yeah, so I'm sorry. Sorry about my head. I'm trying to stamp things and I'm messing it up. I added some lines there for my journaling, again with the same stamp set that I went around the edges of my layout here. And then I found this fantastic stamp set from Scraptastic. Now, I'm sorry, I don't think you can, no, I'm pretty sure you can't find this set anymore, because Scraptastic, it was a kit club and they no longer exist, I think. So yeah, but any type of themed kind of travel stamp set would work here, or everything that I do, you could totally sketch it yourself, which is what I've been doing in the previous pages, or you can download, like if you want a map of somewhere you traveled to, just find some free images on the internet. You can download them and collage them into your journal. So I would say this type of page is really fun to make, and you don't need a lot of skill. So I'm not actually sketching anything here. I'm just arranging things in the way that I like them. And soon I will get to add some watercolors, which is always the fun part for me. So this is just like getting the images down there. And yeah, I really like how this turned out. This was just fun to make. It's one of those pages that I don't feel any, pressure to get things looking perfect. I can just kind of have fun and put my faith in my stamps and let them do the work. So I'm just crinkling a bit the boarding passes, just to give it that kind of worn out, a little bit distressed look, like they've been through stuff, these pieces of paper. And the whole thing, I wanted to look a little bit like, to have a bit of a vintagey look. So I feel like adding watercolors is a great way to do that. You can also add things like, distress inks, that type of thing. Just have fun with it. I don't like things to look too like brown, distressed and brown. But I love texture, and I do love a little bit of color. So at first I went to my rainbow palette, and I used, you can see I have some palette dirt there, which is where I mix my neutral colors. And I just want to add a little bit of color. So I don't actually want to add it to the stamp, to the inside of the stamped image. I kind of just wanted to make the background a little bit more grungy and grayish, and hopefully help that stamp pop, that image of the US. I'm also adding a little bit of shadows underneath all the elements that I have here, but mostly just adding color to make everything look a little bit more dimensional, a little bit more interesting, have a bit more depth. So this is a really great, easy way of getting that with, you know, stamped images. But I would do the same if it was my own sketches. You want that look of shadows. Depth is something that is really important, and it makes a huge difference. It makes whatever you're painting, you know, we're working in 2 dimensions, so we need tricks to help us get a more interesting look. So one of the ways that I do that is by getting a little bit of texture on those papers, and then I do have a little bit of 3D action going on. But with the painted stuff, you know, you really have to fake it. So I'm doing that by adding some shadows, just a little bit of contrast. And yeah, I decided I needed a little bit more gray, and I could have mixed gray from my rainbow palette. That's absolutely no problem. But I have this gray that I like from the Daniel Smith Ultimate Mixing Set, which I transferred to another container, as you can see, because the Daniel Smith box leaks. I reviewed that on my channel. It was very unfortunate. I still haven't seen them change that box, which is ridiculous if you ask me. But anyway, so I moved my Daniel Smith to this little cute tin, and then I added a couple more paints because I had the room for it, but that's not relevant right now. Anyway, that set has a pretty gray that is called Jane's Gray, and actually Daniel Smith will be releasing some new grays. They have posted about them already, but I haven't seen them yet on Jackson's. The moment that they arrive to Jackson's, I'm pretty sure I will snag at least a couple, if not all of them, because they look really, really pretty. And while I like to mix my own grays, it's nice to have some interesting colors in your palette. And I think, yeah, grays are, I love grays. Like, I'm happy they went with grays and not browns. So I'll be trying that. Adding some splatters, of course. And then I'm also adding a little bit of color right onto my papers just to make them feel more like a part of this whole thing. I'm also adding it a bit to my papers there. If I wanted to add even more texture, I would have gone in with some white gesso, spread it in strategic places, and then go over that with watercolors. I love how that looks, but I didn't want to get too many details here, or like too many layers. I still want this to keep, I want this journal to have kind of a light feeling. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you in another video very, very soon. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.